Hey again. It's the day after midsummer, and I'm just out on a little hike. It's Sunday, so I just thought I'd do a little brief update. Not that there's massive to update on, but I wanted to kind of comment on there seems to be a lot of shift happening at the moment. Not only globally, which you'd have to be under a rock not to have seen that, but also personally. Quite interesting. I think I'm only going to really talk about my stuff, global stuff. Like, come to your own conclusions, do your own thinking, do your own research. That's all I can say on that one. Certainly interesting times, but yeah, like personally, there's been over the last few months like a big kind of clearing out. I was saying to a friend yesterday, it's like, when you go past a shop and they're like closing down sale, everything must go, and they're having like a big clear out, or more, not so much closing down, but it's under new management or something, and they're getting rid of all the old stuff and they want to bring in new stock. Kind of feels like that. A lot of people, some who had been in my life, at least peripherally, for quite a while, they've removed me off of socials, like, for whatever reason. And at one point in the past, like, I'd have probably been, oh, what have I done? And now I'm like, no, this is okay, this is fine. Some people, like, I was pretty close with, and there's been a few where they kind of done or said things where I'm like, I'm not cool with this, I'm not tolerating this. Some of it was nothing to do with me directly, but it was sort of attitudes that I'm just not willing to tolerate. Others were, it was more personal. It was more, I maybe felt, they weren't being clear or straight with me, if you like. So I'm like, okay. And I've had to walk away from these people, which hurts. It's never fun, but it's sort of got to be done. And the reason for that is I firmly believe, we only have so much sort of energy, if you like, sort of social energy, I guess, or psychic energy, maybe you might want to call it. There's only so much we can do. And if people are sort of filling that vessel, but undeservedly, or they're just taking up space, they're in the way. This is the thing. Like, if they're there, they're in the background, they're doing whatever they're doing, and you're dealing with it. It's just consuming energy. It's just consuming space, and you're not really benefiting from it, I suppose you might say. So I think sometimes, whatever you want to call it, the system, the universe, God, has this clearing. Just gets rid of these people who they're no longer serving you, and it's like, you have to look at it and say, okay, I wish you well, I wish you the best, I don't wish you any harm, but bye bye. And there's been a lot of that sort of over the past, 2 months maybe. Since kind of last, about September, October time, met a lot of people, and I think I was kind of, oh great, there's all these new interactions and things, but maybe I wasn't so aware of, right, okay, hang on, are these actually constructive? Or are these actually quite one way and toxic, and are they not what I want? So, hold this on. So yeah, you know, it's like, okay, I wish them well. They're gone. You know, sometimes, like, if people, they show you their true colours, you have to be able to say, no, I'm not tolerating this. So there's been quite a lot of that going on, which obviously has been emotionally quite up and down, because it's okay to miss these people. It's okay to say, well, I regret what's happened, which I do, but it has to be done. I see it as a little bit like, you know, if I go to the dentist and the dentist says, oh, this tooth is bad, we've got to take it out. You know it's going to hurt, right? You know it's going to cause you pain. You know the injections are going to hurt. You know the taking it out is going to be painful. But in the long run, that's better than having a rotten tooth in your head causing you agony for days and weeks and months. You know, so I see it a little bit like that. So although, I mean, certainly the last one, which was relatively recent, only a few days ago, you know, it hurt, it sucked. I was in a bit of a bomb hole for a few days, and then I looked at it and gone, okay, actually, you know what, is what it is. There's a van coming, we move on, and it's okay, and it's fine. So things will be good. Things will be good. I'm intrigued to see what's going to come in and fill that space, because going back to what I was saying about this energetic vessel, if you like, which I suppose is an idea I've kind of pinched from Kabbalah. They use the term vessels or kalipot in a slightly different way, but I think it does apply. You know, there's a clearing out because there's something coming in, and I think it may, you know, space is created because there's something waiting in the distance, and you need to be ready for that, whatever that is, to come in. And it's good, I think, to not be afraid of that, to embrace it and say, okay, I welcome whatever's coming. I do think, you know, there needs to be, for me, a bit of a shift. You know, things have become a bit stale, a bit repetitive. Part of me thinks maybe the UK has gone as far as it's going to go for me. I was abroad recently, which I really, really needed. I think I need to spend more time out of this country, potentially on a more permanent basis. But I don't know. I'm hoping, you know, ideas will percolate, and then I can take action once things are clear. But yeah, so that was just a little update on how things have been, where things are at, and well, yeah, I'm just on this hike, which will take me, it's only short, I'll only be about an hour and a half, maybe 2. It's only short, so it's just local to where I live. But it's the UK is so humid. It isn't super warm. It's pretty only low 20s perhaps, but the humidity, it's like being wrapped in a wet blanket. You know, it hits hard. It really does hit hard. Definitely now, you notice I'm having to sleep with the windows open and covers off the bed. You know, it makes it so hot. Yeah, so aircon is very welcome where I can access it. But it's the UK, it's very variable, and obviously now we're into the period of where we're past the apex, so the nights are going to start getting longer. We've probably got another maybe 8 weeks of decent weather, maybe 8 to 10 weeks of decent weather. We'd then be into sort of September, and about then, you know, you start to notice the very, very subtle shift. And then usually by October, November, it's like, you know, it's dark, it's cold, temperatures are sort of in the teens, and that's it. And yeah, you know, it's all turning. But it just amazes me how speedily everything turns around. So as I show you this, look, this is such an iconic, to me, such an iconic British scene. You know, the tree in the middle of the field, and yeah, this is a nice little spot. So I'm going to leave it at that. Peace and love to everyone, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.